Yo, what's up beautiful people of YouTube? Welcome to Dom's Media Zone. In today's video slash tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can upload your first video onto YouTube using YouTube Studio. So if you're someone that's quite new to YouTube and you want to share your creative content with the rest of the world using YouTube, I'll show you step by step how you can upload your video, how you can edit the title, the descriptions, the tags, and I'll also show you how to create chapters in your video. Chapters are really useful if you have a really long video and you want to divide it up into chapters so that someone who's watching your video can jump to different sections. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Hi everybody and welcome to today's video tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you how to upload your video onto your YouTube channel. So in order to do this, you're going to need a completed video file. So that's the completed video that you want to upload to your channel, and then you're going to need a thumbnail. Now if you don't know how to edit your video clips into one complete video file, go check in the descriptions below. I'm going to put a link on how you can do that using a free software called Vinci Resolve 17. Also, if you're not 100% sure how to create a thumbnail, I've got a tutorial to do that. I'll put a link in the description as well. So let's get started. So log into YouTube, and once you've logged into YouTube with your account, then click on the top right corner here, click on your icon, and then you're going to need to go to YouTube Studio. So click on YouTube Studio. Okay, once you're in the YouTube Studio, make sure that the dashboards tab is selected, which it should be by default. And then over here in the top right corner, you've got a button that says create. Go ahead and press create. And then choose the option that says upload videos. All right, now you're going to get this pop-up that says upload your video, select your files. You can either drag and drop your video file into here, or you can just click here, select files, and then locate the video on your desktop or wherever you saved it. So I'm going to take this video here, and then I'm going to say open. Okay, now what this is doing is uploading our video. So you'll see in the bottom here, it's uploading, it's giving you the progress status, how many % is done and how many minutes left. So once this uploads, the video will be in standard definition. Once it's in standard definition and it's been processed, we can go ahead and edit all these elements on top here. We're going to go through these in a minute. Just to point out that YouTube processes the standard definition first, and then once it's done with that, it then processes it into the high definition. Now that can take a while depending on the size of your video. The nice thing is you can still edit all these things in standard definition, and then you could possibly schedule your video to get released the next day or any day of your choosing, and that way you're ensuring that you've given YouTube enough time to process the video into high definition. I will show you at the end of this video how you can check that it's being processed in high definition. The first thing you're going to need to do is to put a title for your video. Now the title is very important. It needs to be really descriptive because it's the first thing people will see when they're searching for a video on YouTube. Will be your title and your thumbnail. Those two things are very important. Plus the title also contains keywords that the YouTube algorithm uses to search for different videos. So let's go ahead and give this video a title. Now this video is about the Canon 90D video settings for YouTube. So I've already typed out and prepared a title: Canon's best video settings for YouTube, Canon 90D tutorial, camera facing indoor settings 90D. So this is kind of a descriptive title, and these are some keywords I think people will search for when looking for this video. Okay, the second thing we can move on to is the description. Now the description is also important because it will let someone know at a glance what your video is about and whether or not that is the video for them and whether or not that's the topic they're interested in. So in your description, go ahead and type what the video is going to be about. And I'll also show you right now how to use chapters to put chapters into your video to make it easier for someone that's viewing to jump to sections of your video without having to kind of randomly select where they think something might be about your video. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So I've already prepared a description. I'm just going to copy and paste it over here. So as you can see, my description tells the user what the video is going to be about. And then the chapters section, this is what's going to divide my video up into chapters. To show you what chapters look like, I'm just going to jump into another video just to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so as you can see here, I've got a different video, a tutorial I was working on before, and you'll see down here on this scroll bar, there's different topics. So this one is called fine tune, this one is called picture style, this part here is called the gamma adjustment, and so on. So each one of these is a chapter. So to get it like this, to divide this timeline into these chapters, what I had to do in my description is create these chapters. So to start chapters, you always have to start with 00. If you do not start it with 0:00, you're not going to have chapters in your video. So this code here tells YouTube that you are going to be using chapters in your video. So then after you've used your first chapter, which is the beginning of your video, you want to tell the users where the next section starts. So the next section starts at 0:23, next one's at 0:42. These are times in minutes. So for example, 7 minutes and 3 seconds into the video, they'll be able to get to the picture style section. So if I click on that, you can see now it automatically jumped to the picture style section, which was at 7 minutes and 03 seconds. So that's how chapters work for YouTube videos. So that's why I usually like to do this, especially with longer videos where people might just want to jump to a specific section. Also in the description, you want to include any links to videos or software or websites that you've mentioned in your video. So if you've mentioned in your video that you're going to provide a link to something, this is where you want to put the link. Now keep in mind your description can be up to 5,000 characters, so that's quite a bit of stuff you can fit in here. Now let's move on to the next section, which is our thumbnail section. Now the thumbnail is really important because that's one of the first things someone's going to see when they're browsing YouTube is your thumbnail. And if it doesn't catch their attention and doesn't convey the message of what they're looking for, they're most likely just going to scroll past the thumbnail. So it's got to be something interesting and something related to the video. For example, these are some of the thumbnails I use. So like for example, this one, the Canon BR remote. I'm holding the remote just to show the users that this is a video about that remote. So get creative with your thumbnails and try to design them in such a way that they grab someone's attention. Okay, back to our thumbnail section. To upload a thumbnail, just click on here and then select the thumbnail that you've prepared earlier and click open. And as you can see, this will now go ahead and insert the thumbnail into our video. Now moving down, you've got something called playlists. So on your YouTube channel, you can set up different playlists or different topics if you want to call them that. For example, on my channel, I've got different kind of topics. So I've got some Vinci Resolve tutorials, I've got Canon tutorials, I've got vlogging setups and different things. So I've got to tell YouTube what playlist this video falls under. Now, since this video is about the Canon 90D and the Canon 90D settings, I'm going to go ahead and select the Canon 90D playlist, and then I'm going to click done. Now it shows me here that it's in that playlist. All right, the next thing you want to do is tell YouTube whether it's made for kids or not made for kids. Now I select not made for kids because my primary audience are usually adults. For example, it's not something where it's a play or for kids or a nursery song, something specifically for kids, then you would say yes, it's made for kids. So I'm selecting no, it's not made for kids. And then over here, you want to go and click show more. Okay, now we're going to scroll down and then here you've got to tell YouTube whether your video contains any paid promotions, like if someone gave you a product to review or something like that. If it does, you have to let that be known. On my channel, I have not had any promotions or sponsorships, so I'm just going to leave that as it is. Okay, the next part that we want to do is add tags. Now, these are super important because these are the things that help people find your video when they're searching in YouTube. So for example, if you're searching YouTube and you want to see reviews about the new Samsung S21, you will type into YouTube reviews S21. So these are the tags. This is everything that you think users might search for when they want to look for a video such as this one. So get creative with your tags. Try to think as if you're using YouTube and you're searching for a video such as the one you're uploading. What things would you type into the search bar? I've already prepared a bunch of tags, so I'm just going to paste them. So as an example, since this is a Canon 90D tutorial about video settings, these are the tags I'll be using: Canon 90D, Canon 90D tutorial, video settings. So everything I can possibly think of that someone might search for when looking for Canon 90D video settings. And you'll notice it's got 500 characters, so I'm right on the point here. So I can now continue and move on. Down here, you're going to see the language and caption certification section, and video language is English, but you can select whichever language you've made your video in. And over here, caption certification, just leave that as none. Then here, recording date, time and location, you can put that if you want to. So here, I'm just going to say it was recorded on Sunday. And then video location, you can put wherever you are. I usually leave this blank. And then if I scroll down to the bottom, license and distribution, here you can specify whether you want some people to use your video in their websites or places that this video might be useful. So for example, if someone finds a tutorial on your channel and they have a website about that product, would they be allowed to use your video on their website? Now, I have no problem with that. that sort of thing will probably generate a lot of views for you. So I always leave this to checked on. And then down here, the short sampling section, it asks you whether you want to allow people to sample this content. So I think that means that people can use pieces of your video in their videos if they wanted to use it, and you're agreeing to that. I just leave that. I don't have a problem with that. Under category, you got to tell YouTube what kind of category your video falls under. So currently it's on science and technology, but because this is a camera 90D, it's going under film and animation. Now down here, the comments and ratings section. So this is where you can potentially block some inappropriate comments from showing up underneath your video. So say for example, you post a video and someone decides to use some vulgar words on your video, YouTube will hold that comment back for you to review it. And once you review it, you can approve it or disapprove it. If YouTube does not detect that the comment is inappropriate, it will allow the comment to go through. So I usually just select that as a safety net. And then over here, lastly, you've got show how many viewers like and dislike this video. You can show or hide your likes and dislikes. All right, as you can see now, the standard definition version has finished processing, and now it started doing the high definition processing. So this does take a while, but the good news is because it's finished the standard one, we can now move on to the next thing, which is our video element. So let's go ahead and click next. Alright, and over here on the video elements, you've got a section called add subtitles. This is if you had some subtitles, you could add them to your video. And then you've got things like add cards, which promotes related content during your video. So if during your video, you talk about another video of yours, possibly, this is where you would add a link to that video so that while you're speaking, it will pop up that link so that someone can click on the link to see what you're talking about. I sometimes use this if I am referring to other videos. And then this one here, add an end screen. This is the one I do use. This lets you promote some videos right at the end of your video. So if I finish this Canon 90D tutorial and I think, okay, well, whoever was interested in that might be interested in like a Vinci Resolve tutorial, I would add that video at the end screen. Let's go ahead and do that right now to show you how that works. I'm going to click add over here, and then it lets you select what you want to add at the end. So I'm going to add 2 video cards at the end, but you've got many different options over here. So if I click on that, you'll see it inserts 2 video cards. Now you can move these around to where they're going to be located on your video screen. And then over here as well, you can slide down and select at what point in time on your video do you want those cards to pop up. So I usually like them to pop up when that outro is playing so that it doesn't disturb the viewers when they're watching the video. And then you can also select what videos you want to be shown on these cards. So over here, if you leave the defaults, YouTube will show the best video for the current viewer. So YouTube will decide from your videos what's the best one to show. And over here it says video most recent upload. So I usually change this to choose a specific video, as I like to choose the video myself. And I'm going to go ahead and select the Vinci Resolve tutorial for beginners. So now I know this is the video card that will show in the outro. And then over here, I'll just let YouTube decide what's the best video for the viewer. And then once you're happy with that, go ahead and click save. And that's our video elements done. Now you can go ahead and click next. And over here, you're in a section called checks. Now YouTube does a check for copyright. So they look for any music that you might have used that's copyrighted, or anything that you might have used and you're not aware of that's not supposed to be on your video. So in this case, they've done their checks and there were no issues found. So I'm happy to move on to the next section. All right. And finally, this is the last section that lets you publish or save your video or schedule your video. So if you want to just make your video go live instantly in the standard definition without waiting for the high definition to process, you can go ahead and click public and then publish, and that will release your video instantly. Now I like to schedule my videos because I do like them to be released in high definition. So I usually click on schedule, and today is the 15th of June. So I usually schedule my videos for Fridays at 1 a.m. So I'm going to click on the 18th of June, Friday. I want them to come out at 1 a.m. so that when people wake up in the morning, they can see a new video and possibly watch it, or they can maybe watch it later on that weekend. Okay, now it says here, before publishing, check the following. Do kids appear in this video? Make sure you protect minors from harm. And then looking for overall content guidance, you can click here to learn more about what you are allowed and not allowed to upload. Now that I'm ready to schedule my video, I'm going to go ahead and click the schedule button. And here we get a message that the video has been scheduled for the 18th of June at 1 a.m. Also gives you a link to your video, which you can copy and send over to anyone that you might want to watch your video. Once that's done, you can go ahead and click close. And then on the left hand side, if you go into the contents tab, now you can see your video appears here under your contents, and it tells you that it's scheduled for what date and time. If you wanted to change the scheduled date and time, you can just click on there, and then you can change it anytime you like before it goes live. And then Also take note here, it says processing the HD version, which means it's not yet ready in the HD version. The SD version is ready. You can watch it in your standard definition, but high definition is not ready. And like I said, depending on the quality and size of your video file, this can take a while. I've seen this take up to a day and a half before. So I like to schedule my videos in advance so that it gets released once the processing is done. And that is the whole process of uploading a video to YouTube. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this video helps you out and I hope you learned something. If you did, do give me a like so that I know that it helped you out, and do consider subscribing to this channel. I've got lots more cool videos lined up for the future. Thanks for watching. Take care, be safe, and goodbye. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Today I'm gonna show you how to upload your first video to YouTube.